Many years ago, in a beautiful neighborhood in Victoria Island, Lagos, there lived a beautiful woman whose name was Madam Beatrice. Beatrice was the kind of woman who believed that the world was her footstool. She was very beautiful, but her heart was as dry as a piece of stockfish left in the sun for 3 weeks. She lived in a mansion with her husband, Chief Emeka, a quiet, hardworking man who owned a chain of supermarkets. And while Emeka was busy making money, Beatrice was busy being the lazy queen of Lagos. She would not even lift a spoon to feed herself if she could find someone to do it for her. She was very lazy and her environment was always dirty. So she had no other option than to bring a maid from the village so as to help her keep her home clean. Neka was a young girl from the village, brought to be her housemaid. She was skinny, her clothes were tattered, and her hair was always messy because Madam Beatrice never gave her time to even breathe, let alone comb her hair. She literally worked from morning till night, and Madam Beatrice would still be calling her, screaming, "Neka, you useless ugly girl! I don't even know why I brought a dirty pig like you from the village sef. My friend, come here and spray air freshener before your smell would drive me crazy," Beatrice screamed as she sat on the sofa while filing her nails while a movie played on the giant TV. "Yes, ma," Neka said, running in from the kitchen and wiping her sweaty forehead with her wrapper. "Why is my juice not cold? Do you want to kill me? You already look like a starved goat, and your brain is as small as a mustard seed. That is why you cannot process simple information." Beatrice hissed. "I'm sorry, ma. It's not been up to 10 minutes that I put the juice in the fridge," Neka replied. "Shut up! No food for you today. Since you cannot provide cold juice, you will learn the hard way. Now, go and scrub that balcony with a toothbrush. Move!" Beatrice barked. Neka's eyes filled with tears. She had not eaten since yesterday morning, as her madam had punished her previously for not washing clothes. Now again, she was punishing her by starving her. Meanwhile, Beatrice will make Neka cook different delicious meals: fried rice, turkey, creamy pasta, and even make Neka watch her eat it. But Neka that cooked it will not even have a taste of it, even if they were leftovers. But Beatrice will scrape them into the dustbin rather than give them to the ugly village girl Neka. But what Beatrice did not know was that Chief Emeka was watching. He was a man of few words, but he had a very big heart. He hated how his wife treated Neka, but whenever he wanted to come in, Beatrice would start World War III in the house, screaming that he was taking the side of a common maid. And he did not have the strength to face his wife in her constant complaint, because he himself was not finding it any easy. His wife was constantly accusing him of being the reason for their childlessness. They had been married for 10 years, and yet not even one child. She was turning Chief Emeka's life into a nightmare. Every day was a court session where Emeka was the accused one. "Emeka, look at you, a old chief, But you are a half man. Look at my friend Kofo. Her husband just bought her a house in London for their son's third birthday. Yes, her son's third birthday. But me, look at me now. I'm here looking at your useless face. You are just a dry tree. You cannot even produce even if a small seed. Beatrice will shout, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. Chifemeka would sit in his study room, his hands in his head. He was a man of peace, but Beatrice was a woman of war. She would follow him into the study room, telling him how her mother had given birth to 12 children and how he was clearly the problem. I have gone for my test, Emeka. The doctor says I am a guardian of fertility. But you are a desert. Go and find a solution before I find a real man. She would scream, waving a piece of paper in his face. Emeka would hold the medical results she gave him, staring at the stamps and signature, feeling like his world was collapsing. He felt so ashamed. He felt small and broken. And when Beatrice was not tormenting her husband or maid, she was busy spending time with her friends who were fondly called the VI Diamonds. With two of her friends, Madame Kofo and Lady Gladys. They would sit in the lounge of her beautiful home, drinking champagne, while she made Nneka stand and fan them with a manual hand fan, despite the fact that the AC was on, simply because she derived pleasure in humiliating Nneka. Her friends would always make jokes about her. Beatrice dear, why is this girl so ugly? Her skin looks like a dried up cocoa. Lady Gladys will say. Oh, Lady Gladys, don't mind the specimen. I don't even know where she was when God was sharing beauty. Beatrice would say, and they would all burst out into laughter, while Nneka would stand there, tears streaming down her eyes. Her hands were aching from fanning them. Her stomach was screaming from hunger for even a crumb of bread, but she had no choice than to keep fanning. Beatrice was so wicked to Nneka. Nothing Nneka did ever pleased her. Sometimes Beatrice would tell her to feed the family dog, a very fat dog named Prince, with a whole bowl of grilled chicken, while Nneka herself had not even eaten. And when Nneka reached for a piece of bone that the dog left behind, Beatrice would slap her hand. Come on, that is for the dog, you bush girl. You go and eat the smell of the kitchen. That one is for free, Beatrice would say. One weekend, Beatrice wanted to go for a weekend getaway with her friends, but she knew that her husband would not allow her go. So she came up with a plan. She packed her bags and was waiting for the right opportunity. She had planned that she was going to cause trouble and nag to her husband about their childlessness so that they would quarrel and she would use the opportunity to go for the vacation. So that day, Beatrice picked up a quarrel with Emeka. She walked up to her husband, Chief Emeka, who was sitting on his leather armchair and was thinking about his life. Beatrice stood in front of him, her hands on her hip. She was holding a stack of medical paper and was waving them like a flag. Then she started screaming, Chief Emeka, Chief Emeka, look at me when I'm talking to you, Emeka. I said look at me. Or is it that your eyes are now useless as the rest of your body? Beatrice said, screaming. Beatrice, please. I just got back from the office. Can I just have one night of peace? Emeka whispered. Peace? Ha! Hey! You want peace? I am the one who should be asking for peace. I am getting old though. Emeka, my friends are busy buying baby formula and planning inter-house sports. But look at me. I am here playing Ludo with a man who is as dry as a tree. She threw the paper on his face and they all scattered around him. Dr. Collins' report is there. Read it again. It says I am the garden of fertility. My eggs are ripe. Emeka, they are waiting. But what are they waiting for, sir? What are they waiting for? A man who is only a chief by the beads around his neck. You just carry this and fall everywhere. You are a half man, Emeka. No. Half is even too much. You are a quarter man. Beatrice will shout. Beatrice, that is enough, Emeka said, finally looking up. His eyes were red.
No. It is not enough, Beatrice said, stepping closer until she was inches from his face, the smell of her expensive perfume mixing with the stench of malice. Every morning I wake up and look at my flat stomach. I curse the day I said I do to you. You have used all this your shortcoming to embarrass my father's name. Do you know what they call me at the saloon? Do you know? They call me the woman of the empty house.
And it is all because of your tired, sleeping soldiers in between your legs. 10 years, Emeka. 10 years. If I had even married a common gate man, I would have had a football team by now. But no, I am tied to a man who is as fruitful as a desert. You are just big for nothing. A giant with no seed. No seed. Sometimes I just wonder if God was sleeping when he was making you, or if he just forgot to finish the job. She turned towards the kitchen and screamed at the top of her lungs, Neka, bring my bag, let me leave this house. I need a break. I need time off. I need to rest this weekend. And so she walked out angrily with her box. She had succeeded in getting away. Her plan had worked. She was so happy as she drove out of their house that evening. Emeka did not even ask her where she was going because he just wanted the complaining to stop. He sat there thinking, am I really not a man? Am I incomplete? I do not believe in cheating in my marriage, but this woman is driving me crazy. Emeka sat down. He was lost in thought, tears streaming down his eyes. After a while, Chief Emeka went to the kitchen to get a bottle of water. And there he saw Nneka sitting on a small wooden stool. She was shivering. She was trying to eat a piece of dry crust of bread she had found in the dustbin. Nneka, Emeka called softly. The girl jumped, the bread falling from her hand. Hey, sir, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, I was cleaning the floor, Nneka said, stammering. Don't lie to me, Nneka. You're hungry. Sit down, then sit down and eat. Emeka walked to the fridge and brought out a plate of goat meat stew and jollof rice that was meant for his dinner. Ah, no, sir. Madam will kill me, Nneka said, as tears filled her eyes. Madam is out to God knows where. We go eat, Jare. You look so hungry, Nneka said compassionately. And so Nneka took the food and began to eat. And as Nneka ate, she began to relax. She talked about her village. She talked about how she loved to read and how she wanted to be a teacher. And for the first time, Emeka really listened to her. Nneka, look at me, Emeka said. She slowly lifted her head. The kitchen light was warm and golden, and for the first time, she was not covered in dirt. She had washed her face with clean water before sitting down. Emeka froze. He looked at the bridge of her nose, the perfect curve of her lips, and her eyes that were so beautiful. And without the fear and the death, Nneka was very, very beautiful. She was not the starved goat Madam Beatrice always described her to be. She was a diamond that had been covered in mud. Nneka, you are very beautiful. My wife, she lied though. She made me see you through her eyes, not mine, Emeka whispered. Sir? Nneka's heart hammered against her ribs. She calls me a dry tree, Nneka. She says I'm not a man. But I look at you like a man for the first time in years. I want to know the truth. I want to know if I am truly the problem. He reached out and touched her hand. That night, in the quiet of the master bedroom, while the rain drummed heavily on the roof, the master, Emeka and Nneka spent the night together. It was not just about loss though. It was two broken souls trying to find out if they were still whole. 2 months later, everything changed in Emeka's household forever. Nneka had informed Emeka that she had missed her period and that she feared that she was pregnant. Emeka told her to keep quiet about it for the time being, but he was so happy. He felt like a man. But one day, Beatrice was in the middle of complaining to Emeka about a new lace she wanted when Nneka fainted while serving tea. Biko, get up, you drama queen. Don't bring your village play into my parlor. Beatrice said to Nneka. Don't touch her, Emeka roared. He quickly helped Nneka sit up. Emeka, are you okay? No. Is everything okay? So you are putting a house girl on my Italian leather chair, Madam Beatrice said. She is pregnant, Beatrice. My child is in her womb, Emeka said to Beatrice. What? Pregnant? By who? The gateman or the driver? Beatrice started to laugh. By me. And she is moving into the visitor's room today. She is no longer your maid. She is my wife, Emeka said, his eyes hard. Beatrice was shocked and did not know when she began to cry. And in the weeks that followed, the house turned into a battlefield. Nneka, now well fed and dressed in beautiful maternity gowns, became very beautiful looking. The once ugly maid was gone, and in her place was a queen. Emeka spent money on her. He bought her phones, bought her beautiful hair, beautiful clothes, even gave her a car and a driver, and hired a maid to attend to her every need. Nneka treated her domestic staff very well. Nneka was so happy. Now she ate 3 times a day. While Beatrice was so angry. So one day, she tried to hit Nneka. And Emeka warned her that if she ever lifted her hands against Nneka, he would kick her out of his house immediately. And she knew that Emeka was being serious, so she would refrain from hitting Nneka. But she would point and insult Nneka. But Nneka would not respond. And when Beatrice saw that Nneka was ignoring her on purpose, she decided to change her tactics. She started being nice and respectful to her husband. Beatrice tried everything. She started cooking for Emeka. She started crying and accusing Nneka of using juju on Emeka. But Emeka ignored her. He had seen the truth. A few months later, Nneka gave birth to twin boys. She was so happy. But Emeka was happier. He threw a big naming ceremony and kept on shouting, I am a complete man, oh, I am a complete man, oh, I am an Odogo indeed. He was so happy that he gave Nneka 5 million naira check. Beatrice was so angry and jealous of Nneka that she decided she would deal with her by getting rid of her baby. So one afternoon, while Nneka was sleeping, Beatrice tiptoed into the nursery where Nneka's babies were sleeping. She had a bottle of dry gin and she was about to pour it into the baby's feeding bottle and then use it to make formula for the child and start feeding the baby. When the nanny walked in and saw the bottle of dry gin beside the formula, she screamed and raised an alarm. And Emeka and Nneka immediately rushed in. And when the nanny told them what Beatrice was about to do, they snatched the baby from her. They rushed the babies to the hospital. And although he survived, a line had been crossed. Emeka was so angry. Meanwhile, after the birth of his son, Emeka realized that he was not impotent as his first wife Beatrice had falsely accused him for years. He even hired a private investigator to dig into his wife's case and find out what truly happened. And he found out that she was even the impotent one all this while. It was even when one of his twins was still recovering that Emeka's private investigator arrived at the hospital with the result of his findings. Chief, I went to the clinic you mentioned, and Dr. Collins confessed. Your wife Beatrice, she has been paying him for years to falsify your results. She also had a secret surgery 10 years ago in Benin Republic. She has no womb, Chief. She knew it even before your wedding, the man said. Emeka felt a coldness enter his soul. He went home and found Beatrice in the parlor and threw the real medical files at her. So you have no womb. You knew it and you blamed me. You made me feel like a half man. No, you even called me a quarter man. While you were the one who was empty barrel. And then you even now try to kill my son, Emeka said with anger. Emeka, I did it for us. Beatrice wailed, begging and crying. There is no us. Friday, come and pack this woman's bag, pack her things, throw them out of the gate. And if you ever come near this house again, you will go to prison for attempted murder, Emeka said. Beatrice was dragged out of the mansion, screaming at the gate. She tried reaching out to her best friend to at least house her for some time. But her so-called VI Diamond, Kofo and Gladys refused to pick her calls. She had no other option than to rent a small one-room apartment in the slums. She spent her days crying, regretting all that she had done. She thought that if she acted fast and was always complaining to her husband, that he would not be the one to be complaining to her. And her plan had worked for 10 years until she was finally exposed. Years later, the mansion where Emeka and Nneka lived changed. It was not bigger, but it felt different. Laughter filled the house. and children ran through the parlor happily. Nneka was so happy. She went back to school, and just as she once dreamed, she graduated with first class. And with Emeka's support, she opened different schools, starting with the one in her village. She insisted on fair salary, good food and rest for her staffs. And whenever anyone asked her why she was so kind to house helps and housemaid, she would smile and say, "Because I know how it feels to be hungry." Chief Emeka was now an old man, but he was so happy. He no longer needed anyone to shout that he was a man, because his sons climbing his leg, calling him daddy, daddy, proved it to him every day. He was a wise, quiet and firm man who was very happy. As for Beatrice, Lagos swallowed her whole. The same city that once bowed before her now looked through her. Her designer bags were all gone. Her perfumes were now replaced by the bad smell of hardship. The woman who once made others stand and fan her now stood all day at a bus stop, begging. People passed without even looking at her twice because she was dirty and smelling. Sometimes in the evening when rain fell and traffic slowed, Nneka's car would pass at that same bus stop. She saw Beatrice once, maybe twice, while she passed that same bus stop, but she never stopped. Not out of hate, but out of realization that some lessons need to be learned alone. And at night, Beatrice would sit on the cold pavement, hugging herself, shivering, thinking over her life, at all the wrong decisions she had made, all the insults, all the lies, all the cruelty she once thought was power. And finally, she understood, but it was too late, that beauty fades, money disappears, and pride does not last forever. What really matters is character, and Beatrice had wasted hers. In the end, the powerful did not fall because of magic or enemies. She fell by her own choices, and the girl that was once called a dirty village pig, a goat, became bigger, not through revenge, but through dignity. Because life humbles those who are wicked, but rewards those who are patient.
Hi, story lovers. Hope you enjoyed the story. Now I'd like to hear from you. Do you think that it served Beatrice right that she lost her home to her maid, lost her home to Nneka? Do you think it served her right? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section. And also, for every man or woman in a marriage who knows that they are responsible for the fertility issues that they are having in their marriage, and rather than open up to your spouse and tell them, come out to them and be honest with them, and the person is going ahead to gaslight them and making it look like it's their own fault, it's their spouse's fault, not their fault. I hope this story teaches you a lesson. I hope you learned something from Beatrice, because there is no secret that can be covered forever. It will eventually come out. So is it not better that you open up to your spouse than you keep trying to hide it and hide it? You're lacking peace of mind, you're gaslighting, you're doing a lot of that. I think this is a sign from heaven that you should open up and speak to your spouse and stop gaslighting or deceiving your spouse, so that you do not end up like Beatrice. And I hope you did enjoy this story. Please support our channel by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos and sharing with your loved ones. Till we see you again on our next story. Bye.